Alright, welcome back to War Thunder Weekly News. This week we have two large stories coming up. The first one is another naval test. They changed some things and they added a German destroyer. And after that, Operation Summer had started a bit earlier than I was expecting, but if you remember my predictions last week, this falls right in line. Let's get to that naval test, exactly what they changed and added. Besides the German destroyer that we'll get into, they changed up the way the aiming works. It's really, it's not easy to explain in a verbal format, but in a visual format, it's rather easy to understand. What you do is you fire some shells. It tells you how far off your shells were to the actual distance, and then you recorrect it, and then you fire some more. I think that makes sense. You should be able to see it happen in the video if you really want an understanding. They also made it so it's not just like 5 or so green circles pointing in the way the guns are going. Now they got like crosshairs, and if all your guns are pointing in the same direction, you only get one crosshair, and your shells just go in the direction of that crosshair. Well, if your guns are not pointing the same direction, it'll show a crosshair for those individual cannons. One of the things I really like about the new aiming system is the ability to correct the distance. Well, so far it seems only something that you can assign to a mouse wheel. The issue is that scrolling can take so long. You might be able to connect it to other buttons. I haven't looked too far into the controls. But I really like how you can assign how far you want to shoot, kind of like how in tanks where you just lift the barrel up, and this you will more physically assign the distance. My concern though is I found it extremely easy, like really easy. After I was able to assess how it functions, the hits were coming in all day. I did one game in the Japanese destroyer. I don't think I got exactly a whole lot of kills. I did on some PT boats, but I got a lot of assists because I was throwing out a lot of damage. And then eventually my allies would come and take the shot. And the enemies didn't seem to understand how to shoot anywhere near me. It was odd, but hey, maybe I'm just have natural talent. I don't have natural talent. Besides that, there was a new game mode on the same old Fiji map we had last time around. It was Domination, I believe. Works like Domination in tanks. There's 3 points. You gotta cap all the points. What's kind of an interesting thing to note is typically you only get one time around to cap the points because the destroyers are too slow to get to them and like save the game in the nick of time. After the first big battle, after everyone spawns, you're not really gonna change the outcome of the game too much. Maybe if you're lucky, I don't know, they haven't changed the spawn system, so in the future when we can't spawn as many times, maybe then we'll change things up. And of course you can spawn in PT posts and get to the destinations much faster, but it was kind of what you expect. No real big change. And the other thing that was added was the German destroyer, which was leaked a day prior to its reveal. The Type 1936. It phrased a lot as a German Fletcher because of its 5 singular cannons. It's pretty fast. I didn't find anything too outstanding about it. It doesn't have too much of an intensive anti-air armament. It has their 5 127mm cannons, some 20mm anti-aircraft cannons. It's pretty fast. It goes 38 knots or 70 kilometers per hour. Honestly, I still was attracted more towards the Japanese destroyer, but that just may be my inner weeb. Besides that, the other large news story that you probably have already heard of is Operation Summer has started, and they're doing it a bit different than last time. They changed a few things, sort of. But let's start with the vehicles. The first one is a Puma with a 75mm cannon. This is one of the vehicles I'm looking more forward to because it looks pretty awesome. Though I'm also kind of annoyed that it's a event vehicle because this was actually mass produced. I think they're like 50 or so were made. I don't remember. I'd have to go check the Wikipedia again. But it wasn't like some weird one-off prototype or anything. It should be either a premium or in the main tech tree. Although if you think about it, a lot of people have a really hard time going in straight lines in the Puma, so having a forward-facing cannon might make it a little bit hard to use. So maybe that's why they decided to have it not be such a prominent vehicle, because it could be completely awful. It's 75 Pack 40 AT gun. Looks pretty powerful. I'm hoping though that maybe if this thing gets enough attention, if people love it enough, they'll add the half-track AT guns. Those things look really cool. The first aircraft reward is the P-43A-1 Lancer. This is an aircraft that I'm actually rather familiar with. I've been doing a Chinese tech tree proposal, and this is one of the aircraft on that list because it was extensively used in China, though it was also used by the US. I think the British evaluated it, I don't remember. And the Australians used it for reconnaissance, although I don't think the recon version was armed. It's armed with, I think it was 4 50 cals and could go about 550 kilometers per hour. And if you notice, this vehicle has a high resemblance to the P-47 because this was the predecessor, I guess you could say. Anyways, this will be a very interesting low-tier aircraft. I don't think it's going to offer anything different to what we already have in the US. It's going to probably act somewhere between a P-40 and a P-47, but with a very underwhelming armament. Although if its battle rating is low enough, its low armament may actually be a bonus. The second tank reward is something that a bit underwhelming in my personal opinion. The Type 65 self-propelled anti-air. This is a Chinese-developed tank. Well, it's a T-34 with an anti-air turret on it, two 37mm cannons. See, what's underwhelming about it is that it works no different than the milk truck, having the same caliber cannons. I assume it has the same penetration, and the T-34 chassis is gonna kind of subtract what the milk truck is best for, its insane speed. An upside is it will have armor, so you can't take the milk truck out with a 50 cal, but it's gonna lose a lot of its speed. I don't know, it just feels really underwhelming to try to grind so hard for a spag. An upside will be that a plane can't ram it and then hull break it, which is a really dumb thing, and Gaijin should fix it, but they're a little lazy, I guess. The final aircraft reward is the Ki 49-2. This is an aircraft was being developed in competition with the Ki 87 in order to take down the B-29s and whatnot. The Ki 94-1 was more of an odd looking aircraft, kind of like the German Do 335, but this one is like a regular prop plane, but it's actually really powerful. In real life, I don't think it ever flew, but according to Wikipedia, its estimated speed was around 700 kilometers per hour. And if this thing performs like a Ki 84, then it's gonna be pretty high up there in the battle ratings, and it's probably only gonna fight jets. A downside, unfortunately, has been notified that this thing will not be a premium, so you'll have to grind out all the parts, which is kind of annoying. It seems to be the new trend for Gaijin is tier 4 vehicles that they give away in events will not be premium anymore. It's understandable because Gaijin needs to make money, but it's a little annoying because, like, what's the point of getting these unique special vehicles if they don't do anything unique besides fly cool? You still have to grind them. I guess the vehicle itself is the only special thing about it. Well, people were learning that it does not come with a talisman. People are being upset about it. One of the community managers made a point that it is not a premium vehicle but a gift vehicle. In his reply explaining things, he said typically marathon events include rare aircraft like the ME-262A2 or the Type 62, which are exclusive to their event. Premiums are not exclusive. This makes me think, does this include certain event vehicles that are premium, like the F7F3? If so, this would be rather interesting. Although he is only a community manager, so you can't take his word as gospel. But anyways, so what we've learned from this encounter is that tier 4 event vehicles are no longer going to be premium, and that premium vehicles are going to be able to be obtained again. Anyway, those are the reward vehicles that you get from doing the task. The other rewards you can get are some symbols of animals to represent a nation. Great Britain has a lion, Germany has a sparrow, I think, a hawk. Japan has a swan, I think. US has the great bald eagle, and USSR has a bear. And there's also some rifles to put on your tanks. For UK, there's the Lee Enfield, a Grevere 41, Arisaka Type 44, I don't know, some Japanese, M1 carbine, and a SVT 40. The 3D gun decals are rather cool, although personally I think they should be purchasable for Golden Eagles. I don't get why they're only event things. Also with that, for every 2 tank tasks and every 2 airplane tasks, you can get a supply box. Every 3 airplane tasks, you get one of the decals, and every 3 tank tasks, you get one of the rifles. The tasks are similar to the ones in the past. I'm not going to go over the exact details, but you have 2 days to do them, and honestly, they're not that hard. You can do them in random battles, which is not actually a change, but we haven't had this opportunity to do it since last summer. Typically, people are tryharding a lot. I'm seeing a lot more Hellcats, so be aware. But the tasks themselves aren't too hard. If you just play a lot, you can do them passively. But along with all the other possible prizes, Gaijin is doing a new thing where there is like a community event. As long as you complete the terms, you get a new reward, and as the community does more tasks, there are new rewards for the community. The first one is a 77% RP booster for 7 battles. The second one, the 30,000 tasks done, is the title Follow Me Comrades. 650,000 tasks done. There is a unique player icon of a dude holding a pistol. At 1,150,000 tasks done, you get a symbol of Italy, which looks like some sort of dog, and a Panzerspähwagen 3D decal for your tanks. Beyond that, there are 2 mystery boxes that they haven't revealed what's going to be in them. My speculations are that at least one will be some sort of meme machine, kind of like the Katusha or the Po2. What exactly, I'm not entirely sure. And the other one, I'm assuming it's going to be something practical and boring. I don't know if they would give out another vehicle. There are plenty of Chinese vehicles to choose from, but that'd be a bit underwhelming. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to go over the terms in each task. The first one, you have to get 2 tasks done. The second one, you have to get 2 marks of distinction, which I've been calling tasks. And the third one, you need to get 4 marks of distinction. And the 5th one, you need to get 6. No information on what the terms will be for the 5th and 6th one, but they're probably going to be rather high, so not everyone will get the meme machine. But that 6th reward, I'm really wondering what it's going to be. The last thing that I would like to bring up about this is that to purchase a task or whatever, it only costs 800 golden eagles or $7.99 as opposed to the $9.99 that they used to cost. To get them all, it still would probably be expensive as fuck, but more doable, I guess. There was a Q&A that mainly focused around World War mode, and I didn't actually kind of go over this entirely. I guess I should read it more. But they start out with this one big answer that was long and boring, and I almost fell asleep. But there was one thing that stuck out to me, that World War mode is going to be staying as individual, what they call operations. It's not going to be large events. You're not going to be flying for hours in a bomber to go bomb London or whatever. You're going to be sent on an operation. It's going to be like how so far as we've seen, which people aren't too interested in, but I think it still has some merit. But what's unfortunate is these operations are only going to be revolving around historical events, like Stalingrad, like Germany, like whatever happened in France, which kind of disappoints me because I was really hoping that it would be something like Hearts of Iron, where you can have crazy, silly events and those alternate World War scenarios and whatnot. Although maybe the game's not entirely ready for that. If you think about the ground forces locations, they're mainly in Europe, and even the air maps aren't that spread around the world. And as many trees as we do have, we don't have any minor nations to go on. There's no China, there's no South America. I don't even know if you could put a South America tree together. There's no Greece, there's no Scandinavian countries. So I don't know, it's a bit less interesting to me now than it used to be. But it is only in beta, so we have to look further and see what happens. It's possible that it could come out and be amazing, but we'll have to see. There was a update in the changelog that changed a whole lot of things. They altered the way the PvE assault missions work. I haven't played them because I just don't find them interesting, because you get like nothing at all unless you win, which I've never done. Maybe I suck. They finally fixed this strange bug where when tanks get hit by machine guns, they burst into flames. At least I think they fixed it. They said they did. They added smoke to a few more German vehicles and a few other things, necessary changes. On that, they also updated a whole lot of flight models. I'm not going to go through every single change, but the links will be in the description as usual. Typically, this is the part where I'll go into Mike 10D's unofficial patch notes and see what he's been digging up. But unfortunately, for some odd reason, all the patch notes, when I click on the link, it gives me a error 504, I think it was. Bad plugin or something. The end result is I can't access those files anymore. I can't read what they changed. I think besides what has already been revealed, there was hinting of a 75mm aircraft cannon. People thought it was going to go to one of the event vehicles. As we see, it's not. I believe it was the Grizzly. Grizzly was an experimental bomber hunter. I think it was too slow. I don't remember the issues with it, but it was never put into practice. Maybe that's what's going to be the final 6-tier global reward. So since I can't go over that, I'll throw around the little rumors. On the official War Thunder and Twitter Facebook pages, there was a question asked: would you appreciate more modern vehicles in War Thunder? Let us know in the comments. And people are very excited, a little overexcited by these. And also, from some odd sudden urge to dig through the CDK, people happen to stumble upon some files belonging to some missiles, a Sidewinder and I think some Russian one, I don't know. This got people paranoid thinking, oh man, we're gonna get air-to-air missiles now. It's gonna be all jets and stuff and they're gonna totally own everything. It's not gonna be that bad, but whatever. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your outlook, it was found out that these files have been in the game for some time, since the April Fool's event in fact, and we as a community had forgotten about them. The helicopter assets from the April Fool's event were actually carried over from one of Gaijin's older games. It was a helicopter game, I forgot what it was called, but obviously that included air-to-air missiles as helicopters had them. So everyone got all paranoid for something old, but not an entire no. Air-to-air missiles aren't entirely fire and forget. Sidewinders had a tendency to fall off the target. In fact, I think they had a tendency to fly into the sun, which would be hilarious to see in game. They wouldn't be the most overpowered thing. They would obliterate bombers, so the TU floor would no longer be an issue. I don't know, it's something to think about. Food for thought. Besides that, there were some medals found up in the game files. Medals that aren't currently being used in game. This might be planned for a future update or something. The medals never really seem to do much. You kind of get them really fast because they're really easy to obtain. So I guess expect to see them in the future. As a final story and kind of a funny bit, there was another tank dev blog for the Chinese client, the Type 69-2A. I don't know the difference between the Type 69 and the Type 69-2. I assume the Type 69-2 is a bit better. I think it has a different gun. I didn't read the dev blog because it's in Chinese, but I will link it in the description if you care to look at it. And that's just about everything. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you not enjoyed the video, hit the dislike button. If you want to see more of these videos, I do them every weekend. During the week, I like to fill it up with other random stuff. I have a Chinese tech tree rank 2 proposal planned. I had it planned last week too, but new information came up and I had to kind of readjust it. But hopefully now there will be no more readjusting and I can carry on. I recently hit 100 subscribers, which I'm very ecstatic about, and I plan to do a stream where I'm going to give away some codes that I found on the internet that should unlock some rank 1 premiums. I'll give those away in the stream, and someone's probably gonna unsubscribe just to poop on my parade, but whatever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.